Hi and welcome to day 2 of the Girly Grunge blog hop. Today I'm going to be sharing a banner made with burlap and lace. I started with the pennant set and I added a stamped image with mixed media inks and the mixed media inks embossing powder. Then I just heat set that. That gave me a resist so that when I wet the pennant with some water, then I could add the pigment powder, and the area where there's the white text is going to stay white. So I just added a little bit of water to the pigment powder, and I am going to paint the pigment powder onto the little pennant panel, and I'm doing more pigment at the top and less at the bottom to give it an ombre look, and I'm adding more water and now I'm going to kind of squeeze it and wring it a little bit so that it blends downward. And then you want to dry the panels. I also did the same thing with some gold pigment powder, and now I am splattering with blue pigment powder and water across the whole banner. I'm using some premium double-sided tape from Scrapbook Adhesives Home and Hobby on my lace ribbons. And I'm going to remove the backing, and then I'm going to place this onto the top of the banner panel. Then I'm going to wrap it around. It's going to be nice and solid. And you can see the adhesive through the lace, so I'm going to use some of my Twinkle Dust glitter from Clear Snap. And then just rub that in. And now you'll be able to see some sparklies through the lace. I'm using my Carnation Creations and the Tool-in-One from Spellbinders to do the flower background. And I've been using these a lot more lately after I got that tool because they have the long petals that are hard to get out of the die sometimes. But now I've got all of these really lacy kind of layers, and I'm going to adhere them with Easy Dots Permanent with the petals offset, and it'll make a nice full background. I'm going to use some crafty power tape, and you can see in the video there that the crafty power tape is actually off to the side a little bit, so you want to make sure that you get that all the way to the very edge of the lace. And then you want to make sure again that that edge is all the way at the very end of the lace after you've looped the lace over. And you're going to start by folding the corner down, and that's going to give you a nice clean middle. And then you're just going to roll the folded lace, and you want to kind of gather, kind of do a little bit of a pinch, gather, and then roll. That way it'll be a nice full flower instead of just looking like a rolled up piece of material. Then once you have that ready to go, you're going to use a Dodds XL. These things are so strong. I use them on everything. Place that in the middle of the die cut flowers and just press the petals up so that you get the edges of the Dodds covered with the paper and kind of fluff the flower. Now to create the background, I used my texture ribbons, the burlap that is in the set, and I cut the sewn edges off. That's the nice thing about this burlap, is that if you want to have a really clean burlap project, you can, but if you want it to be more grungy, then you can cut the edges off, you can pull some of the strings out like I am here, you can fray it. The best way that I found to fray the edges is to do this. Just act like you're scrubbing out a stain on a shirt or something. Just kind of scrub the edge together, and then that gives you a bit of a frayed edge, but it's still kind of in control. I'm using the Dodds XL, and when I fold each of these over, I'm leaving a little bit of space so that it adheres both the front and back of that loop, and you don't lose it won't come off of the adhesive that way. Now I'm just going to take 2 of those and make an X, and then I'm going to adhere the flower that we've already made to the center of the X, and that is the flower center. And so now I'm going to use a few of those Dots XL on the back of the flower to adhere it to the pennant. And now this is actually kind of an extra little bonus technique. This doesn't have anything to do with product, but I know sometimes people might have questions on how to adhere the pennant set together. So I just took some twine, strung it through both holes, tied a knot at the front, and now I'm wrapping one end around the back, one end around the front, and tying an additional knot here. Now the banner will not be moving back and forth. I actually flip it upside down to tie the bow because for some reason when I tie a bow, the ends want to go upside down. So I tied the bow upside down and then the ends go the way that they're supposed to. And then for the ends, I just took another piece of twine, held the ends together, and just looped and made one single knot. So I had 2 ends that I could use to tie to whatever I needed to tie it to. All of these products are now available on the Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L website. And if you would like to look me up online, here are some of the different places where you can find me.